Well, what do you know? It looks like the ad campaign for Avengers Age of Ultron still has some gas left in the tank. Quite a bit of gas, actually, as that is one kick-ass TV spot they released yesterday for March Madness. Now, the tricky thing with TV spots is that they're more difficult to include in one's episode. So I can't air it again for you here. So if for some reason you've missed this TV spot yesterday, I've put a link in the video description where you can go watch it on Marvel's YouTube channel. So pause the video, go check it out. I'll wait. All right. Have fun. You're going to enjoy it. Okay. All right. You're back? Excellent. Now let's begin. And I'm going to do a shot-by-shot analysis. And thank you, by the way, for everybody who asked me to review this. I love discussing these trailers with you. And I was going to do this actually as a segment on Morning Movie News because I can't show the TV spot. But I got so many wonderful requests and there was so much enthusiasm to discuss this, I felt, as many of you requested, it deserved its own episode. And again, we're going to do a shot-by-shot breakdown. But first, I want to discuss our initial reaction to this TV spot. Now, as I said, it's kick-ass, and many are saying it might even be the best spot or advertisement yet for the movie. And I think in some ways it is because of the action and how it seems so similar to a comic book. I think if there's one thing that Joss Whedon has achieved here, and he even did it with the first Avengers in my opinion, but that I think he's brought the comic book movie closer to the experience of reading a comic book. And as a comic book fan, I am incredibly grateful for that. I mean, I said it when I left the first Avengers movie and I left the theater. I was like, wow, that's what reading a comic book is like. And I think I see even more of those qualities here with the things highlighted in this trailer and the way that the team is presented. And now something else people are saying, though, is stop showing me so much of the movie. And I would agree with that. I think that we can't help ourselves. If they show us anything associated with Avengers Age of Ultron, we're all over it. We're that excited. But we know the movie can only be so long. So the more they show means there's less to discover when we actually, go into that darkened theater on May 1st. Or for those of you in Europe, a whole freaking week earlier. But I think that means that it's Marvel's responsibility to be the responsible party and not show too much. I mean, let's face it, everyone's seeing Avengers Age of Ultron. I mean, unless you don't want to be a part of the global community, it's just something that big. You gotta go. It's a party. Everyone's attending. Don't be the wet blanket that sits it out. Now, for those of you who are DC movie fans right now, I would also like to say, to be fair, that unless the trailer for Batman v Superman looks like total butt, everyone's going to feel the same way about that film as well. You have to see Batman and Superman throw down. It's kind of just like something people do. So I don't think they have to be too worried about selling tickets. The only reason I can see for this trailer, which has a remarkably different tone than the other trailers that have run, this is a TV spot again, sorry, but the difference in tone here is so intense that that's why I think that's what I think the justification for this TV spot is. I think it's to remind people that, you know what, it might seem darker in some of the content we've shown you so far, but that doesn't mean the same fun comedic aspects aren't also present. That's been a big hallmark of the Marvel Cinematic Universe to date, and I think it's really important with getting that family audience. Making sure that someone goes, oh, well, wait a minute, even one of you actually wrote me that your kid was really scared of Ultron and went and had to have you check under the bed for Ultron, and I think that maybe some Disney Marvel executives are like, whoa, we don't want that to happen. You can come, there'll be lots of hilarity and jokes will ensue and it'll be a little scary. So I think they're trying to walk a very fine line here and we'll see if they can pull it off. If they can be dark enough to satisfy the fans who want to see the franchise go in that direction, but yet light enough to keep the 4- and 5-year-olds and, anyone, babies coming to see the movie. Although, I guess, babies aren't as sensitive as maybe a 3- or 4-year-old. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, so I love it, and again, it really reminds me of a comic book, but there's something else it reminds me of as we begin here, and it reminds me a little bit of toys. I think for the first time, the Avengers really seem like toys, which I find hilarious, and I'll point out to you the spots in the trailer where I believe that's the case. All right, so we're gonna start here. Here we go. All right, I love this opening shot of Tony Stark landing in his house. It's just fantastic. I love the world building, and I love that he donated his his Stark Tower to the Avengers. Now that's the first part of this very trailer here, and many people are pointing out that this is perhaps sowing the seeds for Civil War, that Tony is a disgruntled employee. He's not the boss, despite, as he says, building everything, paying for everything, designing everything. Okay, wait a second right there. But I think, you can see some of the animosity there. And there's an overall animosity all around. The Avengers fought in the first movie. They're still fighting in the second movie. And they're really going to fight in Captain America 3 Civil War. Now, right here, I wanted to pause this because a lot of people were like, the last time I reviewed one of the Avengers trailers, people were like, you didn't mention the claw. So I want to just mention the claw, and there it is in all its claw glory. They cut it so that it's supposed to be like Hawkeye's claw, and I believe they really want you to maybe have a misdirect here and be like, oh, just like Black Widow has her electric batons now, or Eskrima sticks, now Hawkeye has these cool, like, Wolverine-like claws. I think it's almost definitely Andy Serkis. He's playing a character named Ulysses Claw. He does something with sound technology, I believe, or waves or something, so that could very well be a part of it. Maybe he's going to plug into something in Wakanda. The seeds are also sown for Black Panther in this movie, so I think this is a total misdirect. And if you have a character in your movie named Ulysses Claw, the claw is likely his. All right, so let's continue here. We're moving along. They set up this, the Tony Stark, Captain America rivalry. Love it. Then you just have a little bit of an intro here to the awesomeness where, Ultron's like, what do you got? And Nick Fury goes, oh, I'll show you what I've got. And now we have our character breakdown. It's so much like the beginning to any animated series. It's so fun. And I love seeing it done in live action and done successfully, where it doesn't look cheesy. All right, so we start off, of course, with Captain... oh, no, we don't start with Captain America. He's the first shot, though. But it is interesting who starts this off, and it's Iron Man, because it's probably contractually obligated to him in his Marvel contract. But I do like the shot of Captain America's glove. It's very cool. Captain America's uniform gets cooler with each evolution. So his glove comes back up. He's got the glove. We've got the shield. We've got Mjolnir. They're right here. This is the first toy shot. Love this shot. All right, now I'm over the coolness of it. I've become used to it. The awe has worn away. I still like it, but I'm no longer just blinded by its awesomeness. So I've moved on to a new phase with this shot, and how is it accomplished, right? So the first time we see that they drive this truck up, and it looks like a toy truck, which I think is just absolutely hilarious. So I'm already seeing this toy set being sold for Avengers Age of Ultron. Hawkeye and Black Widow in their SHIELD or Avengers truck, or all-terrain vehicle. So I was like, are they CGI'd in here, or is this wire work? And I think based on the way they take into the air, it's wire work. The beauty of going frame by frame. I'm sure whoever did the special effects for like this is like, I tried my hardest, darn it! It's hard to do this. The wire work is as good as I could get it. And in the movie, it's going to look amazing. So anyway, here you can see Thor, he just takes off into the air. He doesn't even push off of that wall. He just magically takes it into the air, which I feel is, wire work, indicative of wire work. But then hilariously, I love that Black Widow and Hawkeye just are like, abandon the all-terrain vehicle. It's like the budget for this team must be huge. It's Tony Stark's pockets, by the way, obviously, as he made clear. But they're just like, peace out, we're gonna leave this Jeep. And they don't even jump out. They just keep flying. It's total wire work. That's how I believe this scene is done. I'm sure, obviously, Iron Man and the Hulk are added as CGI, but everything else is, I believe, wires. So I think that's really cool, and they just look like toys there. It's just hilarious. They're even, the overall point of this is they're even moving like toys. And you're just like, oh, and then you jump out of the car, and it's awesome. I like it a lot. All right, so moving on here. Now we go into our team members. Iron Man goes first, as I said, because it's a contractual obligation. Nothing really new here, just Tony Stark being awesome. Then Captain America, this is new. I love this. Here he does. It really is like a toy action move, like Captain America and his bike flip. So there he goes. He flips over, then throws his bike. Another vehicle, trashed in the name of justice. So they behind them they've got 5 bikes and 5 all-terrain vehicles. They're like, next, give me my next round. So that's very cool. But I like seeing Captain America power up a little bit. Then, of course, he also cracks a joke. I'm like, whoa, Cap wants to get on in this action, too. I like it. I like the trash talk within the team. He still has that stupid mask on. I hate that mask. Some of you like it. I really dislike it. I'm like, just take it off already. It can't possibly provide any protection for your head. But I think it is noteworthy to give him more powers and a bigger strength set. I mean, I think if you asked your non-comic book fan what Captain America's superpowers were, they'd be like, out of time, super awesomeness. He's got a shield. I think people aren't aware of some of his super strength and agility. But Black Widow to some degree is supposed to have this as well, but you haven't seen her taken up to this level. But very interesting development. All right, moving on. Black Widow. She doesn't have too much to do. I would have liked to have seen her widow's sting or a widow's bite. It's one of those two in action. But instead, we do see the suit lit up a little bit. That looks very cool. It doesn't look quite as cool as I hoped it would. I would have preferred it to look a little more Tron-like, but I guess it looks as good as it can for a practical special effect, which I'm glad they're doing it that way, maybe. But the thing that's interesting here is that she says, hey, big guy, to the Hulk. More of that Hulk love connection. Brutasha, go Brutasha. They're hitting this so hard that it better be in the movie. I'm going to be very disappointed if it isn't. But everybody at this point also seems comfortable with interacting with the Hulk or Bruce Banner when he's in his Hulk form. Before it was really just Tony Stark and Captain America has told him to smash stuff, but there wasn't too much interaction with him. But now it looks like they've become used to being around him. And boy, is this a 180 from when he chased her through the helicarrier in the first film, right? All relationships start out so crazy. Remember that crazy time you tried to kill me in the helicarrier? It's all good. I can take it. That's why we're on the same team together. All right, so moving forward here, Hulk. Speaking of Hulk smash, that's all he does in his segment. He smashes. But they've already done a lot with him and playing up his big battle with the Hulkbuster Iron Man uniform. So then we go into Thor. And I love this. I love that he uses Cap's shield. He's like, I'll show you how it's done. Fantastic. And boy, it's hard to hit something that's so thin and small like that. It is impressive on the part of Thor. But what I think here is you see more animosity. If Thor doesn't die in this movie, odds are that he is going to be the one to bite the dust and then go have his Ragnarok adventure. I don't see him being on Captain America's side, because I think he's kind of upset with him too. I think there's a lot of jealousy of Captain America. Tony Stark is jealous of Captain America because he's like, I provide all of our assets and awesomeness. Why is he the boss? And I also think, don't forget in that that clip they aired, only Captain America could budge Mjolnir, which did not make Thor happy, as we saw. So I think that you're going to see that perhaps also be a source of contention between Captain America and someone else. So that is fascinating, and I think a really good organic character development for the impending Civil War. So well done, Whedon. And it's just a great interaction. Oh, and thank goodness, as you can see there, no helmet on Cap. All right, so he takes out a bunch of Thor bots. Thor bots. A Freudian slip for Civil War, or mistaken slip there, but Ultron bots. All right, so moving along, Hawkeye. Poor Hawkeye. He's like, I'm in here too. I'm a member of this team, damn it. And his section involves a shot of the Wonder Twins, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. And then he goes into his little motivational speech where he's like, hey, if you go out there, then you're an Avenger. I think we can all guess he's probably talking to Scarlet Witch from the scene they have together that we've seen shots of on set. But he's almost like the assistant coach of the Avengers. He's like, comes out there, takes a knee, as he literally is taking a knee, and is like, you go out there and you be a part of this team and you love yourself, all right? So I think it's funny. I think that's funny that that's what they've given him to do. Like, can he shoot some cool arrows or something in his section? Then Scarlet Witch, total waste of Scarlet Witch. I don't know why. Maybe they're not putting too much focus on Pietro and Wanda, but they make up for it with this next one. Quicksilver. Okay, he does some running. That's cool. Whatever. Here you go. Accent. The biggest takeaway from this TV spot is that Quicksilver has a crazy overkill Russian accent. He sounds like Constantine in Muppets Most Wanted. But I'm not complaining because I'm complaining a little, I guess. But it's very comedic, and I love a good Russian accent joke as much as the next person. They're so much fun to do, but it raises a lot of interesting questions. I think the first thing, though, is it reminds you is that when you read comics, there's no sound. So who knows? All this time, Pietro Maximoff very well could have had a Russian or Eastern European accent, and none of us knew. It makes total sense considering his name and Wanda's name and where they come from and where Magneto comes from. But Magneto has never had an accent either. So very interesting creative choice. I like it a lot. It certainly explains the tracksuit. It reminds me of the villains in the Hawkeye Matt Fraction miniseries. But I think that's a hilarious choice. And I do wonder if Scarlet Witch will then also have an accent. She's kind of got to have an accent, right? I mean, how would her brother have an accent and she would not? Now, the very interesting thing here, though, and the other question this raises is, why wouldn't you cast a Russian or Eastern European actor in the role and give this film a little bit more worldwide flavor? Russia is a big box office market. So once again, I'm going to take this as an opportunity to recommend that you all put Danila, I want to make sure I get his name right, Danila Kozlovsky on your radar. I've mentioned him before. I thought he should be Colossus over in Deadpool. I was like, cast him. We talked about that in Morning Movie News. He's a great actor. He had the unfortunate luck to be in, or misluck to be in Vampire Academy, but he was the best part of that movie. He just screams superhero, and he's a huge hit in Russia. And I asked you guys if he was like Tom Hardy or Zac Efron, and it was confirmed he's more Tom Hardy than Zac Efron. So that's fantastic, and I don't understand why his phone isn't ringing for one of these comic book movies, especially considering all the box office he would bring in that region. But instead it goes to Aaron Taylor Johnson, who's doing, though, I think a pretty good job. He's certainly, I think, coming into his own. That's, of course, Kick-Ass, by the way, just with a dye job. All right, so the rest of the trailer, Ultron, some of the shots we've seen before, the Screamo sticks. Let's see here, 1 second. I just want to see, I just caught that. Who was fighting? Oh, okay, that's just Cap. Also, the Ultron guys are lit up, too, a little bit. That's pretty nice. Lots of glowy lights. Moving on, Hulk fighting, and then Avengers, Age of Ultron. Go buy your tickets! They're like, go get them now. I have my tickets, by the way. Do you have your tickets? I think some more showtimes will go on sale closer to the date, but I think a lot of showings are already sold out. So if you don't have your Avengers, Age of Ultron tickets, go get them now. Or at least if you're sold out, keep an eye on when they add new showtimes, because nobody wants to. Again, I said this is a global party. You don't want to miss opening weekend. All right, so that's my breakdown of this amazing TV spot. I'm so excited to discuss it with you in the comments down below. Thank you again for everyone who asked for this. I always appreciate when you see a trailer and you want to discuss it with me. All right, so let's get to it in the comments. Thank you so much, and you can check out some other episodes right now.